Okay, I want to say welcome once again. It's me, Wushu Richard, or Richard Clark, and welcome here again to another tutorial on FL Studio and the basics of making digital music, making music digitally, or in the modern world, a lot of people are making music digitally. And I'm just going to show you now. This is a tutorial number 2, okay, on this series, and as was requested. And I'm happy to be doing this, and I'm going to show you some of the basics of how I make music. Okay, in the last video, that's tutorial number 1, we just covered some of the basics, so do go and have a look. Okay, I did show how the importance, very important, that you need to understand here, of how to use these tools up here on the top left. And I took you through the basics of patterns and the timeline and tracks. So if you didn't see tutorial 1, you're going to have to go back and watch it, or I strongly advise you, okay, to look at how we work with patterns within this. Okay, patterns, that's what I covered mostly, and I showed you how to use some of these tools up here that are mandatory. You have to understand them. Okay, now we're going to start though. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be opening up one of these tools up the top here. We have a selection of things up the top here. If you look at my mouse cursor, and always get the habit of watching my mouse cursor, the first one, you're going to ignore that for the most part, because it's only to turn everything off and on by left clicking again and again. But the other 4 beside it, if you work the next 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, the next 4 are what we're going to look at those today, basically. Okay, so try to follow with me the best you can. First of all, we're going to lay down a new pattern on the timeline. If you don't understand about patterns, you need to go back and look at that tutorial 1. Okay, so left clicking and creating a pattern. Okay, if we want to create a new pattern, a quick way of creating a new pattern is by going up here with my mouse here and just clicking either, by just clicking add pattern. When you do that, this box will come up. You can give it a name if you wish to, and then choose another color by clicking on this thing and choosing another color. Okay, now when I do that, okay, press enter or click on the tick, and then you'll have a new pattern here. And you may be wondering, where did my other pattern go? Well, it doesn't. It just got rid of that, basically. So if you want to make a new pattern, go to add, and now it will say pattern 2. This time I won't change the name, so just so you can see. And I'll add another color. I'll choose green. Okay, press enter on the keyboard, does the same thing, and then we have another pattern. Okay, so work with left click is to paste them in or move them around by holding. A right click is to delete or delete multiple by holding and hovering over. So left click or right click. Okay, if you want to choose another pattern on here, go over here and you'll see you can just choose from the patterns here. Okay, or go to this drop down menu and choose the other pattern or patterns you wish, okay, if you need to do it that way, but usually you just click for over here. Okay, now so that's a quick recap for you, just capping that for y'all. Okay, I'm known for capping and putting lids on things, but that's another story. You know what I'm saying? No, but basically my terminology, but basically we're going to go in here, okay, and we're going to paste one in. Remember to set this to cell, okay, this thing to cell, to make sure that they snap properly and see how it clicks and snaps into place. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some sounds in. Let's do it, yo. So basically the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on this thing here. So from these options at the top here, we're going to go to the second one in the list. So we're going to work from this 1, 2, 3, 4, or basically 2, 3, 4, 5, because the first one we're going to ignore. It's the only the next 4 that are important. Okay, so we're going to click on this first one, click it, left click, move it around, if you wish to, or just turn it off or turn it back on by clicking on that at the top there. You'll see that there's already some instruments in there, and this is set to be basically a pattern. So let me click on these. If I click here, you can see that these are actually set to be, it's giving you like 4 whatever, yeah. You can actually make this longer if you wanted to by just simply clicking along here, and that makes it longer. Okay. Okay, so basically, what you're going to do is you're going to click it in. So if I click these along here, let's say in a more sensible, like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Not in the middle like that, but you could do, you know. But let's just say that. Okay, for now, if I press play up here, it's going to play, and it's playing the music. You know, I can turn it up, anyway, any day when we play. So I can do that. You know, I can have the you know, these sounds playing. Okay, I'm hoping my voice is coming out clear. And you just loop that. What you can do is you can add in other sounds. So I've got clap here. I can add clap and then press play. Okay. How about we speed that up? Let's move that along here and then make some patterns. See? So simply by clicking on these different places, you can create some different sounds. Okay, so another thing you can do is you can go down and you can right click now on one of these instruments, go along and choose to go here to like fill each 2 steps or 4 or whatever. So fill each 2 steps is a very good thing, and that's there. And then let's try that now. Okay, and I can add all different kinds of things in. I can just paste them along. And what else I can do is I can change the volume of these different sounds. So let's turn some volumes down, but by adjusting these bars, these little knobs here, adjusting these little knobs here, yo. Don't get that shit twisted. And you can actually adjust while you're doing that. So that's a way of creating a beat. Now that is actually set. Now if you look at our pattern, look at the pattern now, you can see that there's actually little marks there. I can zoom in if I wish to. You know, don't forget I can also use the slice tool here, this one, to slice it up, y'all. You know, cut pieces if I wish to. You know, I could move that along here. I could put that there. I could put more of these parts and then less of that. You know what I mean? But this is still effectively just one pattern. Okay, this is still this one pattern. We've just cut different parts of it up. We've just cut parts of the pattern up, but it's the same pattern. We've not selected the green one yet, pattern 2. There's currently no sounds in pattern 2. So if I press play, you can see it's playing from left to right on this timeline, this time bar here. Time bar? And you know, you got that. So that's what you're basically getting. You can rock your head. You can rock your head and put some shades on if you need to, because I've got a pair of shades right here. And I just don't give a shit, goddamn it. You know? But basically, you know, just mucking around with you. But yeah, you know, we're here. We are here. So yeah, let's get into this some more, because we're delving into the epic shit now. So basically, I've got this a basic beat that I've set up. Now if I want to just go in, I can double click, but I don't want to do that yet, so let's get out of there. I want to mention, okay, if you do accidentally have something open that you don't want to have open, just go up the top here on this bar and just re-click and you'll just get out of that. Okay, so we've got these different parts. As I say, I can literally, you know, play from any place. I can move this along and just press play from that part if I wish to, you know. Okay, so that's that. Okay, that's that for playing. Now we want to open up that thing again. We want to make some changes, right? Okay, let's do that. So we're going to open this up, We're going to, let's say we want to delete an instrument, so I can right click on one of these instruments here and just go to delete and then go to OK, and it will delete that. Let's delete another one. Okay, so now we've just got 2, and it's just taken those sounds out from the whole thing. See, it's just taken that out. Okay, like Rambo taking out some enemies, simple as that. Now if I go to there's different ways of adding sounds in. Basically, I can go to add and then go in here and choose one of my VSTs, okay, which is a VST is like a powerful thing. It's like a musical instrument in itself, but usually contains various effects and stuff, and also can contain lots of multiple sounds and sound effects and instruments within a VST, and they're like powerful little things of themselves, but they all play through your musical softwares like this, digital software like this FL Studio. It's just great. Now, so we've seen how this. You don't just want these simple instruments, do you? So you may be wondering, well, heck, how do I get sounds in? Do I play them in? I can't even play a musical instrument. If you can play a musical instrument, there are ways of getting the music in. You can plug it in, and there's a lot of people who like to do that. But of course, digital softwares come with a lot of built-in sounds usually, especially this. And for a long time, I was just using the sounds that they've got in here. But you can download samples. There are lots of places where you can download free samples and music. You can just look online, go online and look on YouTube and things, and look up stuff, and you'll find there's a lot of different sounds. Okay, I'll let you know some if I get around to it. I'll find a good chance to tell you some places where you can get some more sounds. Okay, so bear with me. But I want to say, okay, there are ways of getting that, and also VSTs. Okay, VSTs are basically, as I say, a collection of sounds usually, or not always, but they're usually a collection of sounds in a special like a little mini program of itself, which it's got lots of special effects and stuff in, and they're just amazing. Okay, so it's basically like having, let's say, like a keyboard, a musical keyboard, basically emulated through your computer. You can choose all these different sounds and tweak them, even though this powerful software has so many effects and stuff in anyway. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so let's get on with this. Okay, so we've got 2 patterns here. We've got one empty pattern, being the green one, and then we've got this thing with some drums in it. So let's say, okay, we're just working with this first thing here, being the second one along on this bar here. At the top here, you see the top, okay? We're working with this second one, okay, and we're going to work with the following 3 also. But let's go in. So clicking that open. Now, we want to get another instrument in. Well, how are we going to do that? One way is to go down here and click add. Okay, so do that again, go to add, the plus sign, add. And then you go in and you just choose whatever VSTs you got. Most of these I've got here set up are VST plugins. Okay, but if you want to know about how to set those up, okay, how to set up musical instruments and VSTs plugins and stuff that you can set up so that they run on your system on this, then on FL Studio, then I'll let you know, of course. Okay, I'll be making videos on that. But let's work with what we've got in here. Okay, I'm just using this as though, like you maybe when you first get this software. I'm going to go in. I'm going to go along here to the 5th one along. Okay, the 5th one. The 4th one along. The 4th one along. Okay, and I'm going to click that 4th one. So the 3rd one looks like a piano thing. It's a piano roll. We're going to be using that also. So we're ignoring the first one. The second one is our pattern thing. Okay, this thing where we make the beat, make everything up, And then the 3rd one is the piano roll, where we actually add notes. Okay, notes. Now the one I just showed you just now, we didn't add any notes in. All we did was make a beat. We just added a drum beat. Usually you can change the tones and the notes of drum sounds, so to speak, because they are still instruments, like any sound. But the thing is, we don't usually need to necessarily. we can just lay them in here in the right timing, and we can have our our sounds. Okay, for example, that we can have our rhythm play. See now. Another thing I want to say very quickly, okay, is I want to say you may be wondering, how did I add sound effects into, how did I add instruments into different patterns? Like this is pattern 2 here, and this is our first pattern. Sorry, excuse me. This is our first pattern here. We can stretch these, by the way. But yeah, well, you just simply click on it. That's what you do. You just simply click on one and then open it up with the second one here in the list, and it will come up. Okay, so if you click that off, now I click on this one here, the green one, click on it once and then open that up. Yeah, and that should be right. Hang on, let me just delete that for a moment and we'll see. Am I right there? Yeah, that is right. Hold on. Okay, I'll just the volume's down on that. So I can adjust the volumes as I say, Okay, so basically, yes, that's what you do, okay? But anyway, so we've got that. We've got a pattern on. You lay them down with the left mouse, right click to erase and things like that, you see. And hold or whatever. If you want to paste more of these down, remember to just choose the paintbrush up here from the left rather than the pencil. The paintbrush will paint them down, but they both got their uses, okay? Now, as I say, don't get confused. Also, when you're pasting stuff down, if this turns red, it's because it's selected. Just click somewhere else and it will reveal its original colour or its name, if you've added a colour, that is. Now let's go to the 4th one on the line, okay? And we'll look at it. We're going to use the 4th one first, the 4th one, which is going to add an instrument, and then we're going to go back to the left to this piano looking one, which is called the piano roll. If you want to know what they're called, just look over here in the list, in this screen here on the left. It will show you the information as you hover over these icons. Look, okay, so you'll go in here, view piano roll, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go to here, view browser or plugin picker. From this plugin picker or browser, we're going to click that, the 4th one, and it will show you a list, and you can scroll through these with your mouse wheel, your middle mouse button, and you can choose the instruments. Now I've got this here, recent files. Close that down for a minute. It just shows you the recent files that I've been using, such as different sounds and stuff, okay, that I may have, all kinds of sounds, all kinds of drums and stuff that I've been using, and you can have all kinds of effects. Most of these seem to be drums here, because most of the instruments that I'm using through VSTs right now. This is cool because you can tweak them and stuff, and there's so much stuff in there. But it says recent files. I'm going to close that down. So let's show you that again. You can turn those things off, as I say, by clicking on the cross or clicking elsewhere, or clicking on the top there. So we're going to open that 4th one, which gives you this. Now we're going to go down, and you'll see if you go down, it's got a lot of stuff. You've got one here. If you look, there's quite a lot of stuff. You can go to packs. When that opens up, you've got a lot of stuff there. It says drums, instruments, all kinds of things, right? That's one thing you can do. There's so many folders in here. Clicking again will close a folder down. Clicking up will open it. Go in. You can also go to plugin presets. When this thing opens up, this box here, you go to plugin presets and then go down to generators. So plugin presets and then generators. When you go in here, there are actually most of these is like VSTs anyway in themselves, which is basically like a box of instruments, if you want to call it that. You go into one of these, like for example Harmless, and then it's got more in here, leads, it's got so many, so you just choose these and you just drag them in, basically. Not drag them onto your timeline per se, or into your pattern, but what you do is you drag them onto that thing when it's open. So let's close that down and I'll show you what I mean. So I've got this open, this box, which is the fourth one along. Okay, I just click it and open it. Go down to packs, I would say, just for you for now. Packs. But this all works the same. Go down to instruments. Okay, and then I'm going to choose one. I'm going to instruments. I'm going to go down to, let's go to keyboard. Keyboard, okay. I can do that. Okay. Yeah, and I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to choose my second one again up here, and open up that. Okay. You can see we only have 2 drums. You know, we play that. It's quite simple, isn't it? It's only got a simple drum beat going right now. But what I want to do is I want to drag something into here. So what I do is I simply choose one. I'll choose grand piano. I'll choose grand piano and click with the left mouse. Don't let go. Move it onto here. And now don't hover over one of these instruments, because it may change the instrument or replace it with this. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up somewhere just above or whatever, or just below or just above, and let go. And there we are. Now it's added that in. That's one way of adding it. Another way is you can just go to add. Now what's happened here, you'll see this thing has shown up here. Don't worry, every instrument that you put in is going to give you, something's going to open up like this, okay? And a lot of these are actually VSTs as such, or some kind of sound bank. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn that off. So whatever opens up, what it gives you, I'm going to turn off for now. Turn it off, right? And you can see we've got our piano roll, okay? Now if I start adding stuff in, if I turn this off for a moment, we've just got a piano. Let's work with one sound. We're going to work with one sound for now, okay? If I just start adding sounds, if I start adding it in, boom, 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 whatever, and bam, bam, yeah, I can work the rhythm, the same as drums, but it's going to play no notes. Listen to, if I press play up here at the top, it's not good, is it? Right? And you say, okay, don't worry, let's just change the volume of the drums and we'll listen more. No, it still don't work, does it? So what you want to do is you want to go into a thing called the piano roll, which is, that's right, this one here at the top here. So I'm going to select my piano. Make sure you're on that, okay? Make sure that's off. When you click on the piano, this thing's going to open up, but you don't want to do that, okay? So what we want to do is, right now it looks like the clap is selected, but don't worry. What we're going to do, okay, is we're going to just go up to here, the piano roll, the third one along, but it's the second one we're using. Clicking on that. And then make sure this bar's all the way to the left. Now watch what happens. I can click anywhere and make these notes, okay? Now bearing in mind the timing and the sound, okay? So if I click here with the left mouse button, and I can even add sounds like together, like on the same bar, so you have one deep and one high. If I go down here, I can erase any by right clicking too. I can also erase different ones by right clicking or left clicking to get the sound, to add the note. And when you do add a note, it actually makes a sound. And you'll notice on the left here, you can actually test it by clicking on the actual keyboard here, or the piano on the left of the screen. You can also I think you can also, oh, excuse me, no. You can also, I was going to say you can sometimes play music from your computer keyboard to actually play music too. But anyway, let's go back here. If you ever lose control of what instrument you're choosing, like just now, I'm selecting the clap tool. The clap instrument, the clap sound, okay. We want to have the piano, don't we? We just had the piano, but what's happened to our piano notes? I accidentally pressed a button just now and I've just chose another instrument, but don't worry. So let's say I'm up here on the thing. I choose from the list, there's a list of 3 instruments, which I've got the hat, the clap and the grand piano. If I choose grand piano, now we're back to the grand piano. But if I go down here, you can see, even if I zoom in a little from this bar here, you can see that there are other sounds added. And what those sounds are, if we click out, if I click on my second hold on, if I click on the second, no, if I click on the piano roll to turn it off for a moment, you're going to see that you know, basically we've got one pattern here. Okay. The other pattern is like this. It's got drums and things, right? So I think in this pattern we got some sounds, and in this pattern we got some sounds. But in this pattern, though, in the green one, pattern 2, I think we've actually got a few sounds within that. So if I click on that piano roll again and go to the top, you can see I think we've got a mixture of different sounds here. So you've got like this is the hat. If I choose hat, let's say I want to take the hat out of that. I want to delete the hat. So I'm right-clicking to delete the hat. Okay, now I want to delete the clap. So I click on clap. Where is it? Scroll down, and there's the clap. So I'm going to delete the clap. So now if I click on that, we've only got the ticked grand piano, right? And if I want to drag a note to be longer, I can. I can drag a note shorter or longer too. So for various sounds, such as violins, you may want a long, dragged-on sound, or you may want it very quick and choppy. But with a piano, usually you're not going to really be able to drag them too far, because pressing a piano key is quite a short sound in itself. But okay, if I press play now, it's just playing them however I've laid them, even over each other. So I'm going to put that in. Okay, let's go and click out. I can simply click out by just clicking this first one. I can click out of everything. And again, there's the timeline. Pressing play, it's going to press and play through the timeline. I've stopped that. If I add my other one now, my other pattern 1 from up here, see, now it's got the drums as well. Let's click in on our second one again to open up this and change the volume. Okay, so it's not going to win any awards, that song, but you get the idea. Okay, so let's delete those drums for a moment. And so we've got this here. Okay, now let's say we want to speed up the tempo. And right now, if you look up here, don't click on that record button just yet, but you can see play, go to stop, and that will take it back. But if you go to this thing here, you'll see that it changes to like this. So you can see it's 130. Can you see 130 up the top here? If I click with my left mouse button and hold and drag up, I can go up to faster speeds. I can take it up really high if I wish to. Like, see, I can take it to 200 or whatever. You know, I can take it 180. It's much faster now, yeah? Even faster, 500. I'm going to take it really slow, like let's say 34. See? Very slow, right? So I can choose it. Usually it's set to like 130 usually. And remember to have this thing set to cell. I can't stress that enough. Set it to cell. Okay, this thing, okay? So that's that. Okay, now you can adjust the overall volume. This is the overall volume. These bars here, look over here. There are 2 bars, okay? The left one is for the overall volume of this whole thing playing, not the volume of the let's say the song, the sound, or the instruments, but the volume of what's playing in here, you know, and the whole song, yes, not individual instruments. But this right one is the pitch basically of the whole song, not the pitch of instruments. But if I turn this down and play, see, you see, and now high. Okay, and now higher. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some more things. Okay, so let's say, so now we know how to add a musical instrument. Let's review that very quickly. So we go in here, we click the 4th one along, okay, which is the plug-in picker or the view browser, you know. And we just drag an instrument in. I'm not going to drag the instrument here which I've just done, which it didn't really do much, it didn't show much. So what I'm going to do is I open up the second one here being the thing here. It calls it a channel rack, but basically it's like adding, you know, sounds into your pattern, basically, that you've selected, that you choose. You click on the pattern you want first, and then you add sounds in. Another thing I want to show you just really quickly, okay, very quickly, is if I click here and make two patterns, however they're laid out, it doesn't matter how they're laid out, different patterns, let's say, I can shrink that down. I can merge this as one, because if you don't learn to like merge as you're going to and combine patterns, you're going to end up with a massive, very big, so many, and it's going to be hard to find what you're doing. So to simplify things, you know, you can have different patterns, but what you can do is you can have various instruments, multiple instruments within a pattern if you wish to, or single. But I can have multiple patterns, and I can choose the select tool here, okay, the select tool. Okay, and you know, I can merge some patterns. I can basically cover the ones I want. Like let's say just these ones. Okay, just these ones for now. They're selected. They've changed red because they're selected. With the left mouse button here, using that select tool here. This one, just between the knife, the slice tool, and the magnifying glass zoom tool. The middle one being the select tool. I've highlighted everything. Now I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to go to none of these options here. What I'm going to go to is this over here. Look over here. There's actually a little arrow, a drop-down menu to the far left of all of these tools. To the far left, a little arrow, drop-down arrow, pointing right at first. But you click on it. Click on that, and then you go to edit. Okay. Did you see that? Okay, edit. Go across and go all the way down to merge pattern clips. Okay, click that, left click that, and now we've merged them, okay, as one. So excluding this, regardless of what pattern that was, it could be any pattern. I'm going to delete this, and we're going to play that. Sorry, now it's playing elsewhere, so we don't want to do that. Okay, we're going to stop that, and it's just playing through here basically. So if you have that problem where you press play and you notice that the bar is not moving along, just click on the bar and it will take you back to here. Okay, but if you do want to play the song and then hear it within just that pattern you're working on, then click on the pattern you're working on, and then go to the second one on here, second thing, and click that, and it'll open up the channel rack, okay, and you can press play there. Now you may wonder, okay, why? Let's turn that off for a moment. You may wonder why the piano here, grand piano, is just green, showing you a representation of the notes, but you know, it's not the same as the clap. You see the clap or the hat where we have these marks. The reason being is because we already edited this in the piano roll, which I showed you, this third one along here, where we add the notes in, okay? If you want to do that again, no, don't worry, you don't need to go here, just click on that. Once you've given different notes, it won't give you just a rhythm sort of thing. You just click on this anywhere and it will go in. Okay, and it should take you into this. Try that again, hold on. Show you a double click or single. Okay, click once or twice and it will take you into here. The piano roll again, which is the third one. And you can make adjustments, or or right click or move things around, and you can do that. And then when you want to go back out, you just press the far left one here to get that off. Now what is this? What is this whole screen? That's another good point. We want to look at this timeline. Can we lose that? Well, if I press this left one again, let's say if I turn everything off, it is possible to get just this and you lose the whole thing. So press it again, and that should come up again for you. Okay, this is the view playlist. But okay, so what else do we have? Okay, we have this one, the fourth one on the line. Up here, the fourth one. This is where we choose our instruments, right? So let's open up. We got sidetracked there. I know we're trying to add another instrument now. So we're going to click on this second one and open the second one. Open that second one, and we're going to drag an instrument from this, which is our fourth one, just beside the piano roll. We're going to choose. We're going to choose Rhodes. Choose another. Let's choose another. Let's close that down. Let's choose guitar, and let's choose a plucked hum or a whatever one, man. It doesn't even matter, you know. What's this one? A classical acoustic. Okay, drag that in. Don't hover over your thing. Go somewhere else, just outside, and then you'll add that in. Wait for it to load. It will give you this kind of thing show up, but just turn it off. The cross here, click the X. It will turn it off. Now you again when it starts off, it will just give you like the rhythm thing like this. You don't need to have that. Right click to erase. Just simply click on the one you want. If that comes up, just turn it off again, and then whatever, you go to the piano roll, being the third one here. Okay, and then go up to the top here. It's a drop down menu, and you can choose whatever instruments you want to add to this. So we want to add the classical acoustic guitar. We can see that these instruments are all within this now merged clip, which was originally 2, which is the grand piano, the clap and the hat. You can see that they're all ticked, which means they are there, and any one of these I click on will reveal the notes for that particular instrument that are added within this pattern. If I click on clap, it will give me the clap notes. We just scroll down and find them and adjust those. I want to add the classical acoustic guitar, which currently is unticked because we don't have any notes for that in here. I'm going to click on that, and I'm not going to add any in here. I don't want to do that. I've just made a mistake because I don't want to use it. Let's say, for example, okay, let's say you don't want to add any notes within this pattern. So let's click out by clicking the first one here, and we're going to click on another one of our patterns which are not erased. They're still there, and then we have this merged version. Or we can create a new one. Let's go over to here. We can go to add up the top here, okay, add, and go across and click on pattern, or click elsewhere to escape that, by the way. Or you can go over to here and just click add up here under the time. It gives you the time up here, but you just on the timeline. But it will give you click on add, and that will create a new pattern also. Give a name, so I'll call it pop, just for fun, and I'll click on the grey here and choose another colour. Choose yellow, okay, and then I'm going to click on the tick, or just press enter on the keyboard, and then we have that. It will go pop. We just choose pop from that. Go over here. Oh, I don't know why it didn't give me the colour. If you find that problem, okay, which we've got here, just go to it after you've laid it down. This is a brand new pattern, okay, I'm laying down here. I'm going to go to this little drop down arrow, go down, okay, and go to change colour. Click on that and then choose yellow, and now it's yellow, okay, if that didn't work. Now we've clicked on that. Don't click on this one, click on that one. Well, click on the one you want, and then go to the piano roll, and then go to the drop down menu. You'll see we have a list of instruments that we've entered into our second thing, this thing. But now we're on the piano roll, the third thing with these little marks. Click on that. You'll see none of these instruments are ticked because there are no notes for these instruments in this particular pattern, this chunk, this block pattern. So I'm going to choose the classical guitar, classical acoustic, and start adding some notes. Okay. Okay, so I'm just adding some notes. Random notes. I'm not trying to make a good song. I'm just randomly doing this just to show you, okay? Obviously. You can listen as you go, you know. And then press play to hear it back. Press play. and you say, damn, I don't want to hear everything, I just want to hear my pattern, right? But that's okay. What you do is, okay, if you just want to hear the pattern, at least one simple way of doing this, I find, okay, is by just clicking off, okay, either clicking the piano roll again or clicking to the far left one to turn it all off. And you can simply turn off or on any of these patterns by clicking on the little green dot here to the left. So I will turn that one off for a moment and just listen to this. Okay, it sounds okay, right? Not, but only I'm gonna return that one back on. Okay, here, and then press it. And then press stop if I want to press stop at any time, or move and scroll to different parts of the song. I can move this along, I can slice it with the knife tool, as I've said, move things along also, you know, drag that down, get rid of that completely, or just copy certain parts, just click on that part and then re-click again and just make various parts and just have some fun, you know. Okay, like this. Okay, and again, don't forget up here you have two numbers, like this one to the right here. This one is the time of the song, like where you are on the timeline, for like 4 seconds in 84 milliseconds. But over to here, this is the tempo. This here is the tempo, the speed of the song. So if I amp it up to, like, crank it up to 320 and press play. Press stop, you know, and that's that. Okay, you can work with different speeds even though you've got different tempos. You can actually add notes and stuff to make things seem faster or slower. But you know, just pull that up or down, click on it, and then move, you know. Or you can use your mouse wheel, just hover over that and use the mouse wheel to scroll. But I find it easier to click with the left mouse button and drag and pull it down. Starts off on 130. Okay. Just look where I'm placing my mouse every time, okay, like just here, okay. Sometimes it disappears when I click on certain things, but you've got this bar here over here is the tone, like the pitch of the whole song. This left one is the volume of the whole thing, and I just press play. Okay. Remember, this is set to cell, okay, and then this over here, as I say, you can see it says pop, because that's the one we've got selected. If I click on this one, now it turns to merge clips. If I click on another one, it will give you the name up here. If I click on this one, pattern, see, it will give you that up here, or pop, so it'll do that. So we've got ourselves a little song going on. If I click on pop, for example, and then I open it up to see if I want to see what's inside of any of these two patterns, let's say if I click on pop, this one, the yellow one, if I go up here to the second thing and go to it, click on it, that will show me what's in pop, okay, whether it be drums laid out or whether it be an actual tune with various notes of any instrument, like the guitar, which is the only instrument we've got, by the way, in pop here. The pattern, we're going to just click on the thing here, or twice, and it will take you into the piano roll, which is the third thing along here. Don't forget, another way to get to that once you've selected the pattern you want. Now we're choosing pop, and you'll see all the notes for that, okay. And now if you want to see that thing again, just open it up again by clicking on it, the second one, and that will show you this. And you can adjust the volume of this instrument by the knob here. And if you want to do different things, like, you know, like if I right click, you can do certain different things. Another thing you can actually do is you can click on any of these instruments, the name, click on it, and then drag this thing across, and then it does actually have some use. Like, you have the volume in here, you have the pitch of it, pitch too of just this instrument, the pitch over here. You can see these things here. Okay, so the pitch knob here, this is when these things do become useful, see. And change that a bit, change the volume. And I can also go in and choose various different versions of this piano or different instruments. I can also go into this spanner thing, this here, if you look at this spanner icon, and that changes this whole box into like a mini piano thing. But what it also does you've still got your volume here, and you've still got your pitch, and also you've got other various things like another volume. This here, levels adjustment. Like for example, you have another volume bar here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this second one is a volume bar. But what that seems to do, this second volume bar here, will make it so that every note, that's what I've found at least, and when the notes play for me, they seem that whenever that note plays from this particular instrument, it will be louder than the other instruments. It will kind of like cover them or quieten them a little bit, sort of thing. So like you've got the main volume up here for the thing, but then this volume for me, I don't know, I could be wrong, but that's what it seems to be doing. I've been using this for years now. This volume here for this is always the same for any instrument, more or less. Okay, you have these things. That's what you basically get. Okay, different volume adjustments, but you'll have to see what I mean. If you adjust this one, it seems to like quieten the other instruments down a little bit, like only when that instrument plays, sort of thing. So it's kind of handy sometimes, but I find that you only need to adjust that just ever so slightly if you want that kind of effect, because you don't want it to just tone your whole song down. Mainly, I just control the main volume, this one here, for any of the instruments, or just in the main thing itself over here, just doing the volumes over here, controlling them of any instrument. But this thing is very useful, as I say. Now this is the spanner we've got open here, the spanner. If we go to the left one, it takes you back to whatever this particular instrument's settings box thing looks like. Okay, the master, whatever it says. There's this thing. Not master, but if I'm here, okay, now that is basically the instrument's controls. Okay, if I go over to here now, if you look, I'm very sorry I can't zoom in as such in how I've got this set up, but if you look over here, there's a thing here which says track. Okay, it says track, and you don't need to bother with the range but the as far as I know, I need to look. You don't need to bother with the range, okay. But this one here, track. If you use your mouse wheel to scroll up, or just left click and move your mouse up or down, you'll see it gives a track. And you may say, well, what the heck is the use in that? If I choose track 1, if I choose track 4, or any number, what the heck is that track about, right? Well, let's have a look. If I turn this off, just click it off, or you can click back to the main screen by clicking this, just clicking this first one. Just take you back to here. Get used to clicking on different tools and different things to take your way around, learn your way around. So we've just set, if I'm not mistaken, we've just set the guitar, acoustic guitar, to track 4. Now what have we got? We've got these patterns here set up. This is the same pattern here. Well, look at pop, man, it's everywhere. Pop is in track 2, it's in track 3. Look, the tracks go from top to bottom, don't forget, but the music plays from left to right, okay, on the timeline. So you say, what the heck is all that about? What do it mean? What do it mean setting certain instruments to certain tracks? What's that about? What that really is for you to adjust various special effects. I've told you before in another video, I think, that you can put various special effects and echo sounds and special effects, and also a whole volume control for the whole track too. Basically, it's as though you're taking a musical instrument and you're chucking it into a box. Like you're going to chuck your piano and your guitar into one box where there are special echoing sounds, and then you've got another box, another track, let's say, where you have drums and other violins that have either no effects or different sounds, and you can adjust that. If you put the chicken in the fridge, it's going to go cold. You put the pork in the oven, it's going to cook. You know what I mean? Just kind of that thing. Whatever vegetables and meat you're going to... so like whatever food or foods you put into a certain thing, it's either going to cook or freeze, right? So basically that's what we're doing with these instruments. We have pop here. This is the second pattern we've named pop. The first pattern is here, but that's just a merge copy of the first two patterns we made. And this one here is basically, got various instruments in, 2 instruments in, I think, and this one has got 1 instrument, but it doesn't matter. We've taken the guitar, which is now placed in a note, in a melody within pattern 2, which is named pop. Regardless of how many instances there are of this, or parts of it there are, whatever, pattern 2 being pop is all over the place, right? On the timeline, on the tracks. But the track, okay, you've got to remember the track, we're not talking about the pattern, we're talking about the instrument, which is just inside the pattern. So if I click on this second one and go to the acoustic guitar and click on it, and then you'll see I've set this to 4, haven't I? Track 4. If I turn that off now, turn these off, click elsewhere, it's not even on track 4. It can be on track 4, or it could not be. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter where it is. It could be right far down here. It doesn't matter where it is, okay, anywhere. But we're going to add a special effect to track 4. Okay, so let's do that. Let's open up the tracks mixer thing. We're going to go to the 4. Hang on, this one, the view mixer. It says here, it's the one beside this beside this piece of paper, like sheet of paper there. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the 5th one along. And it's going to open up like this maybe, but you just need to drag it open. Okay, click on that thing, drag it open, drag it some more if you need to, or just double click it and open it, either way. And actually it's already selected on track 4, which is quite interesting, and they go from left to right once you're in here. But what this is a left to right visual representation of this, which is from top to bottom, top to bottom. So track 4 is here. Track 4 is here. There's nothing on it right now, but it seems to be. But there is a guitar that we've set the guitar, don't forget, here to be at track 4. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up that 5th one on the line here, up here, the track mixer, move it across. If it's small, you can double click it, or you can shrink it down, as I say, all that stuff. But we're going to go there, and what we're going to do is we're going to open it up, double click it, don't be afraid, and go to this thing on the right here where it says slot. You've got slots, different slots. It's like a slot house, yo. You go to slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4. If you go to slot 1, for example, I can go in and I can go across and choose an effect. You need to be careful though, because there are lots of different things here, like VSTs and stuff, for like different sound effects, different sound instruments, things like that. But what you're going to do is you're going to go into one like reverb. You've got fruity reverb. Fruity reverb. Okay. And you can go there. You can choose one of your effects. A reverb is basically an effect. So I'm going to choose this reverb. Then you're going to have various options. This thing comes up and you can choose. You can go to presets. By clicking the presets arrows here, I can choose. I can choose like a large hall, and you can have the different effects here. So I can adjust the size over here. Just have a look at these knobs here. Adjust the size. The left bar here is the volume. The middle one just balances them out, and then the right one is the echo. How strong the echo is on the mat. So basically the left and the right bars here are this is the dry, like with no echo, and then the right one is with the echo, because we've chosen the reverb 2 effect here in under slots over here. We just chose one and we chose reverb, fruity reverb 2. You go to the middle one here, that just adjusts the balance between them. And what I can do is I can just press play. Okay, let's just bring that down, double click that. I'm going to delete my drums, okay, pattern just for now, just so we can just hear the guitar, okay? Can you hear? There's literally an echo sound, as though it's in a large hall. Now we've kind of lost it, right? So we're going to go back here to fruity reverb, click on that, and then the features come up for that, the options. Turn that down a little bit. Okay, so you get the different effects for different instruments, and you can add these effects to all the different instruments you want. And you can even adjust volumes for just this track 4. So I can turn the whole volume up or down for that, or go into the middle here. If I adjust these ones, it can have a bar here, and you've got these different knobs over here to the right, and you can adjust volumes in different ways, and you can experiment. And what they do is they kind of, like I said, they'll give a different impact, like the sound of this track containing whatever instruments it does will be louder or quieter than other tracks whenever this track plays a sound. So whenever a sound comes from this track, be it someone singing or an instrument, it's going to be louder or quieter than the other tracks that are playing their collections of sounds. Okay, so that's like that now. It's considerably louder, yes. If I go over here now and just choose one of my other patterns from on the left here and bring the drums back. Those drums are pretty quiet, aren't they? Let's turn those drums up a bit. Maybe let's turn the guitar down. Let's go to the second one here. Click on it, and we can just go to the guitar simply and turn the guitar down. And we're going to turn the drums, the piano down a little. And we're going to have these two drums are actually pretty loud. Usually you'll have a kick drum, a snare drum. You know, those are the main ones, but we've just got a clap and a hat here. But we want to make these more powerful, so I can turn up my hat a little bit. But we still want them more powerful. We want that clap to be very loud. Okay, let's add an effect. If I go to my 5th one here on the line, the 5th up the top here, and then double click the thing. When it opens up, double click it to open up this again, the tracks. Well, what we're going to do is we need to set the drum to another track. Let's just set it to any track. We'll set it to track 5. Okay, track 5. There's no special effects here. No, in the list where we can add special effects, there's nothing on the slots here. Okay, for track 5. So it's kind of clean, and you can even add microphones in, but we're not going to do that now. I'm going to go to my clap, okay, which I've chosen, and you can see currently it's set to track 2. I've clicked on the clap instrument here by opening the second thing here, and then clicked on clap, clickety clack, and then I'm going to hold it, my left mouse button, and crank it up to 5. Now you can see this is track 5. Now we're going to open up that 5th one along. It's going to open up like this, but you just double click it. Now we're on track 5 here, okay, from left to right once you're in here, rather than top to bottom. We're going to go over here to the slot, god damn it, and open up that bitch, excuse my language, but we're going to open up this slot. We're going to go into that, right, and we're going to click and we're going to go to a special thing I'm going to go down until you find Sound Goodizer. I like this. Click on this, and this thing comes up. This thing, okay. And then what you do is you just turn this up 4 if you want to. You've got 4 different options there. But what it does is it cranks it up and makes it really powerful. I'm also going to adjust the volume a little bit over here to the right, and then this bar to pull it out. Turn it down, and now we're going to click that off and press play. You can hear how powerful that drum is. I'm going to turn down my piano a little bit. Okay, I can also turn down my overall pitch for the whole thing here on these bars here. The left being the volume, the right being the pitch. Turn that down. Press play. Okay, so please bear with me there. I just had some difficulty, but the basic thing is like that. We're going to look at how to save a song, okay? Once you've learned how to, add special effects in by clicking on the 5th thing on the line here, the 5th one, and then adding your effects in, like I said, this is the master mix, so this is on the left here, this is for the whole song. You can have an echo or whatever. You add effects by clicking on the slots, okay? You can have multiple effects. Slot 4, Okay, so track 4 here, we've set a guitar, we've set this echo for the guitar, and the way we did that is by clicking on the second thing here, clicking on the guitar, okay, and then cranking this up to 4. So when it's set to 4, okay, we've got that. And we did the same thing for we click off by clicking this thing, the first one, but when we click on the second one, don't forget we've got our clap, and that's set to track 5. If you click on the 5th thing here also, it just happens to, it could be any track, but we've got that set to this sound goodizer for the drum, for the powerful sound, and that's another special effect. So every time you click on us, what you basically do, the process is you simply open up the second one here, click on an instrument that you've got, that you've loaded in via the 4th one in the line by dragging them in, dragging these in from the 4th one up here. You drag these in. What you find, but what you do is you open up from the second one. So second one along, open it up. You click on an instrument's name. You go over to here where the track is. Set the number. Okay. Then you open up. You press the 5th one along here, 5. And you basically just choose one of these slots, and you just click on it, and then you click on one of these effects. And once you've done that, you'll have various options for them, and you can adjust the volumes for them. When you want to save the song, okay, you just go up to File, the whole song. Okay, this is not just a pattern. You can save just patterns if you wish to, but what you want to do is save a whole song. Depending on how you're working, go to File and go down and go to Save As, and then click from the drop down box and go down to MP3. Depending on your options, it may not allow you to do that if you can only choose like WAV, for example, but there's options in there and you'll see how to change them. We'll talk about that again in future, but just go to that, okay, MP3 if you want to just save your song. That's what I usually do, and you just choose the title of your song, okay, whatever it's going to be, and then you just save it as an MP3. Just go to save, okay, and that's how you make a rough song. We're going to look at more details on how to actually make different songs and how I do them, and other effects and different features in here in more future videos coming pretty soon, okay. I'm working on a lot of stuff now, and animation and stuff too, so thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed these videos. Thanks a lot. More to come, okay, on showing how to make actual songs and things, just for some fun, okay, and different kinds of music and atmosphere, just from my own ways and my own creativeness, okay, my own ways, my own methods of making songs. Thanks for watching.